is very much a me-centered player at certain times, and you got a couple examples that you want to list off.
Yeah, there's just three. In his last threes, or no, a couple last stops. Obviously, this one he tried to veto N'Golo Kante, Karim Benzema, and Yusuf En-Nesyri this past summer. If Benzema, the thing was that he was trying to stop is Benzema then goes to El Hilal, then it create a domino effect of Conte going to Turkey, and same with Enesri going to or coming into the Saudi league and from Turkey. So it was going to create a whole domino effect. That's why he ultimately tried to stop this move. In 2022, he
Yeah.
vetoed Man United trying to sign Antonio Conte as the Manchester United manager. I believe at that time, I can't remember where Conte was because I think no, that was after he got sacked. So no, that was before he went to Tottenham ultimately. But said he just straight up did not want to work with Antonio Conte. But Conte ended up going to Tottenham and then got fired from there. And I don't even know where the man has been since. Then in 2017, he was reported to block moves for Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Arturo
Mm.
Vidal to join Real Madrid, so they didn't steal his glory. So if we put in this time in
Wow.
2017, Vidal was still unbelievable for Juventus as a CDM. He was unbelievable. I mean, that midfield three would have been upgraded even more with Real Madrid. And then 2017, Zlatan was still capable of doing stuff at a high level. It would have to be a little bit smaller. We didn't have to play week in, week out. And then if we talk about, him sitting out, I mean, he sat out at Juventus to get a move to Man United. He sat out at Man United to leave the club ultimately because he was upset with things, and this is just a history of these things happening. And Ronaldo has tried to make everything about himself. He doesn't want to lose his. He wants to be the spotlight of everything and everything he has to do with the team. I mean, he got benched in the 2022 World Cup, and again, once they got knocked out in the round of 16, he came off the field crying for crying out loud. And then Messi ultimately
Yeah.
wins the World Cup and solidified the GOAT conversation for Lionel Messi. But no, it's just that Ronaldo he's got a history of doing this wherever he goes, whether that is, vetoing moves or trying to boycott to get things that he wants or just stopping everything to make sure that he is still the center of attention, which, I mean, you look back at those Real Madrid teams where they won 3 straight Champions League. I mean, you still had Gareth Bale, unbelievable player at the time. That was before he wanted to play golf all the time. Benzema, unbelievable striker. Then you had
Yeah.
Modric, you had Toni Kroos. Who was the third midfielder? There was a third midfielder that was really good. And I don't know, but there was that midfield three was unbelievable. But anyways, it's just like, at what point do you just try to be a good teammate? Like, a lot of people don't like being around this guy. They want to, like, he's an unbelievable
Yeah.
player. Don't get me wrong. Like, Ronaldo is an unbelievable player, but he's just becoming a prima donna, and it's just annoying. And I can't say I've ever seen a player veto moves. Like, we've seen LeBron obviously have his say in a head coach and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
does he really influence all these moves? I mean, not that it's ever come out, but I don't know. I just don't like this. I don't like this at all.
And it becomes harder to really give him the benefit of the doubt when he has a track record and a history of doing these things. Looking at it from an objective point of view, you can look at the situation in the Saudi League and go, okay, there's a lot of money and there's probably a lot of corruption there. With the amount of money that's flying around. And so I can see where, maybe Cristiano Ronaldo, and there's probably other players that probably feel the same exact way, that this just isn't right the way that this league is run. And I don't think they're unique in that. I think there's a lot of professional leagues that are going to kind of manufacture parity in one way or another, or manufacture a league or a team of superstars or a collection of teams. We see that all the time. But it's hard for people to sit back and actually relate to what he's doing, or think it's anything other than just a personal move and a me decision. When you listed off all the examples that you just listed off, there's a track record here. It very much has a boy who cried wolf kind of vibe to it. Like, at this point, no one's buying it. At this point, we understand what the deal is. We understand what your view of yourself is. And as opposed to just finishing things out and maybe leaving the Saudi League, which he is perfectly capable of doing. I mean, if anything, I think it's more pathetic to see a player of his caliber, having this petty back and forth with a startup league that's trying to become one of the biggest leagues in the world. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, your history, your reputation, your name, all of it. And yet you're over here having a petty back and forth with the Saudi league. That's the thing, that it's not a good look for Ronaldo at all either on that side. So from a reputation perspective, I think it's damaging. But again, if you're looking for sympathy from the football world for the decision you're making, you're not going to get it from a lot of places, because again, simply they understand who you are, they understand what you've done, and they understand that this isn't the first time that we've seen these types of things out of you. So the question of Ronaldo coming to Major League Soccer, though, I think is an interesting one. I think maybe hypotheticals on where he could land. I think both him and Messi being in the same league here in the U.S., I mean, you talk about the MLS owners would probably just lose their mind. I mean, that would be to think about. That was just it was a dream. It was a fantasy for a while. But let's not forget, like, Ronaldo, just in a lot of ways, when he initially made that move to the Saudi league, he looked like a sellout and a cop out to begin with. So who's to say that Major League Soccer can't come up with a good lump sum of money to give him, and then he ends up coming over to the MLS? So I just, yeah, it's hard to believe a word that comes out of his mouth.
So I was actually doing some digging, and basically, Ronaldo had. So I think Ronaldo is gonna leave. I ultimately think in the summer, after the World Cup, I think Ronaldo is going to leave. Some people have said Europe is a destination, and also the MLS is a destination because there's MLS clubs that are currently after him. And if we can obviously play the game at some point of, maybe tomorrow we can do that, of who can actually sign Ronaldo from the MLS. I mean, he's got a 50 million euro release clause. I don't know what that is to dollars, but that's basically what again, he could also terminate his contract, or the club could terminate his contract, and he could be able to leave for free. We don't obviously know the situation, but we'd have to find clubs that could ultimately try to sign Ronaldo for 50 million. And obviously there's only a couple of locations that could probably afford this. Could you imagine if they team up in Miami? Like, that would be insane if Ronaldo and Messi teamed up in Miami. Like, to actually sit there and think that these two are playing on the same team in the MLS, Inter Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone would tune in all the time, because especially to see those two like play together, and obviously we've never seen Kobe or LeBron play with each other, or MJ and LeBron play with each other. We've never actually seen greats play with each other, unless that is obviously Team USA in the Olympics. Obviously, that obviously is the only time. But we've never seen them actually play in a competitive pro league environment, all that stuff. Could you imagine if those two, like, playing with each other, the amount of attendance that would, like, everyone in the world would probably tune into that, and the MLS would just start skyrocketing. Everything would be so much more, and like, that could ultimately be like the golden era of MLS soccer. That would be, but I ultimately think that they should.
That would be the magic. That would be the Bird and
right
Jordan of. Yeah, that would be the Bird and Jordan. Yep.
Yep.
The only difference is like, they would be better as competitors, in my opinion.
And
versus on
ultimately,
the same team.
I think the MLS would veto that move, because they're like, dude, you got to go to a different team just to see people compete.
Yeah.
I think that's what.
Right.
And ultimately, the new GOAT conversation would be like, well, who has the most MLS cups? Who's got the most US Open cups? Who's got the most of that? Like, that's ultimately what it would come down to. But I think for the MLS, like, that would be the best thing that could ultimately, this whole saga yesterday could be the best thing for MLS soccer. Like, because if you think about it, if he gets this ticked off, he might want to leave the league. He might want to leave the team. Obviously, lots of things can still happen before the transfer window opens up again, and a lot of things that have to go right behind the scenes. But I'm just saying, this could be the best thing that could happen to MLS soccer. And in my own personal opinion, I think Ronaldo is just a bitch at this point. Like, he just tries to control everything, and that's not me.
He called everybody bitches on the show.
I know this isn't me hating this, and this because I like Messi more. That has nothing to do with it. I think Messi's a better player. I think Messi's a better teammate. And for the people that are Ronaldo fans, or excuse me, Pinaldo fans, that all think like, oh, Messi, is actually has a dark side and all this fun stuff. Well, yeah, he does, but he does it on the field. He doesn't do it behind the scenes and out in the media and controls all this stuff. Messi actually instigates a lot of things on the field. He instigates a lot of things, but the teammates respect Messi so much and have an aura about him that he backs up everything. You know the term of second guy always gets caught? Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because Messi starts a lot of things. He knows when to do it right, but everything happens on the field. It doesn't happen off the field. It doesn't happen in the media. It doesn't happen where he's trying to control team decisions. But Ronaldo has a past of this. And I will say this, if you're an MLS side that wants to ultimately get Ronaldo, I mean, you got to realize that, this could ultimately happen to you a couple times. He could veto a couple of your moves in the MLS, whether Ronaldo's trying to persuade players to come to your team, trying to persuade players to come to the league. Like, ultimately, the MLS might not even want this distraction. If you think about it, the MLS might not even want this distraction for the league itself, if they don't want Ronaldo to be doing this and giving the league a bad reputation, because Messi, coming over from Ligue 1, he's done nothing but boost the reputation of the MLS. He's never said anything bad,
Mm-hmm.
and he's never vetoed anything. So, I mean, Messi's
Mm-hmm.
done a really good job for the league. Ronaldo, you kind of have to have that little bit of caution when you're dealing with a player like Cristiano Ronaldo, like a player you're dealing with LeBron.